In this video, I will show you a very important feature in the camera to have a photographic look. It's using the depth of field. So how to use depth of field? First of all, you need a camera. Here, I did just download here in the demo files, you can see there. So into the cycle section here, you have the file Classroom made by Christophe Seux. So very nice file again to experiment. Thanks for everyone. And here now let's go there. We have an entire room here. In perspective view here, you can just select, you can just go inside. You can see that I made little changes here. I did add a Suzanne for experiment, maybe a few objects to have something to render, and we will focus to have a view somewhere like this, okay, to have this kind of view. So let's go for it, and to do that we will add a camera. So I made a little camera collection here. We have this camera here, and what I would like to do is going there, start to find a framing that will work, okay, so something like this maybe, and make Ctrl-Alt-0 just to place first of all the camera. Then I can just select camera to view and maybe change a little my view like this. What I can do as well is enable here the rendered view to see a little more how it will look in the end, to have something like this, and disable all these objects. So it doesn't disable this object here. It will just disable all these lines from the view that will not appear in the render, okay? So it's very useful to manage the real view that you will have. Something like that will work, okay? So yeah, it works, but it's a little boring, honestly, and it doesn't really have a photographic look. Maybe the texture of the desk here is not that good, but honestly, even the image itself will not make something convincing because we don't have this kind of photographic look that the depth of field will add. So let's go for that. First of all, I will come back here in solid view there and disable camera to view like this. I can move freely into the 3D view like that. Okay, good. We will go into the camera, select the camera, go into the camera settings and enable depth of field. I will keep the options here, the focal length and everything by default. I will not change anything. Here I will go just in the camera view now with 0, and with the depth of field enabled, I will select the object that I want to focus on, and here it will be Suzanne. Let's go for it. Now what I can do is go into rendered view and see the result. We can see directly that we have a nice render already, okay? A nice depth of field effect. So how it works? Blender will focus on one subject here. The subject is Suzanne. And here we have the f-stop value that is the most important to manage. The f-stop value will help you to manage the size of the blur, okay? So if you increase the f-blur at 10, for example, you will have something with less blur. If you decrease it to 1, you will have something with a lot of blur, okay? So yeah, very easy to understand. Somewhere about 3 for this scene, or maybe 4 might be okay to have something good. And we can really see now that this image looks really more photographic than before. What is good as well is to use it with animation. And actually, it's not only for animation that you will use this feature, it's the focus distance here that you can do it manually. So the best for that is to come back in object, here in solid view there, and to come back with the little lines everywhere. You have to enable the limits into your camera. So for this, you go into the viewport display, you show the limits here, and you can see a cross. So you can scale the camera down and it will make something less big like this. It will not take that much space here into the interface. It will not change the view anyway. Then you see here the focus point. It's the big cross here, the big yellow cross. Okay, so by default it's command Suzanne. Okay, if I disable this, it goes very far. As you see, it's 10 meters away. It takes the distance value here. So I can manually here decrease this and see the cross moving inside. And what is good with that is that you can really make it very precise. Okay, so let's say you would like to have something on top view here, to have something that really is on this eye, not this eye here, this eye. You can do it very precisely like that. So let's say here it should focus on it. Okay, and now if I come back to camera view and go back in rendered view, you can see that now it's this eye that is focused on. Okay, so it's very important because when you select the object here, it will take the center of the object. But maybe your object is big and you want to focus only on a little space of it. So yeah, it's very important to understand that. Okay, so the focus distance, very important. And what is good with the focus distance and that is that you can play with animation. Okay, so we will see how to use keyframes in animation, but let's have a little example just for show you how it works. Okay, let's come back into our classic. Here you have the viewport shading solid view. And what I would like to do is add a second Suzanne maybe. Maybe this Suzanne will be on this desk here. And so for this, I will just duplicate Suzanne. On top view, here, wireframe view, and on orthographic view, Shift D, put it there, and just adapt this with GZ. Maybe scale it up a little. Okay. And let's have a look on what we have now. We have this kind of view. Okay, with G, Shift Z, we can adapt the view in camera view. And now in solid view, we will have this. Good. So we have two Suzannes that are here. Maybe I would like to put this one over there. With G, Shift Z, I can stick on the surface like that. Maybe there might be good. Good. So now we have two subjects, and it's something that is very used in cinema. For example, if you have two characters that are talking to each other, you have the focus that goes to the character that is talking, and after you come back to the other one. Okay. So it's very useful, and to do that, you just have to use this value here on the camera. You can select the camera here. And you can play with this value over there, so the focus distance. So let's say you have your first focus distance and you will just keep it like this. And to do that, you just put the cursor into the value and use the Y option. Okay, it will create a key like that. And then you go there, maybe you advance a little during the animation. And you will say, now it will be here. It will stay until 20 frames. So the first Suzanne will talk a little, okay? And we will go until there. We just use Y, like this it will not change. And then we will make the transition maybe until 70. And on this one, we will increase the size of it until we go to the next Suzanne. So we go into the side view like that, and we just manage this progressively until we go there, okay? Somewhere near there. And we can make Y again. So now we have a nice animation of it, okay? You can see that it moves like this. And now we can focus on the first and on the second one. So if we see that in rendered view, directly, we can see that in the beginning, it's focused only in Suzanne, the first one. And then after, progressively, it will go to the other one. Okay, and now we have our second image. So yeah, very important to understand that. And so that's it for using the depth of field. You can make very photographic look now to your renders. It will be very important to understand. And now we will see in the next video, it will be a little one, but it's important to understand. It's how to perform renders and how to compare renders.